Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Chicago Cubs, your first place Chicago Cubs, 48-29 through the end of June. I think that deserves a like, a subscribe, a comment. I just passed 1,500 subscribers on YouTube, which is awesome. Thank you so much for that. My goal was to hit 2,000 this year, so I don't know how realistic that is, but you guys keep those subscriptions coming, we'll get there. We will get there. So at any rate, let's jump in. So this is going to be the July episode. We'll get through the draft. We'll get through the trade deadline. And last episode at the end, I made the comment that I think we're looking towards maybe second base and starting pitching. I did make one move. I literally just did it. I recorded for like 3 minutes and then I had to stop. But I sent where is it? I sent Mason Miller down to the minor leagues. Mason hadn't been particularly good this year, struggled last year as well. Sent him to the minors and called back up Hyung Jun So, which is something I discussed again at the end of last episode that I was probably going to do. In terms of trade acquisitions, there's somebody I have my eye on. He's on the trade block. I don't know what it's going to take to get him, but he's in the final year of his contract. He's making about $16 million or so the other team would have to retain. Well, look at Chase Dollander already in the majors. Oh, it looks like the Pirates may have wrecked him just a little bit, rushing him to the minors. Yeah, not crazy about that. Not crazy about that. I let him get a full year down in AA and AAA in 2024 and then call him up this year. Anyway, yes, there's a second baseman I've got my eye on. Haven't really dug into pitching yet, but there is a second baseman I have my eye on. So let's go into that and let's take a look. And I don't believe he's listed as a second baseman. I think he's actually listed as a shortstop, but it is somebody that we can probably convert pretty easily, and that's Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette is listed on the trade block by the Toronto Blue Jays. He's 27 years old. He's making $16.5 million this year. He can play second base with those ratings. We may have to he may have to work that number up, so I think initially it might be a bit of a struggle. But he's got the bat, which is something that we've struggled at, kind of out of that position. Nico Horner's not really hitting. He's having a good year offensively. He's passable with the glove. So we're looking at Bo Bichette as a potential option at second base for us. Again, they'd have to retain like 50% of the contract. I haven't really dug into this yet, so I don't really know what's an option, but how about James Triantos? So we'd make this trade in a heartbeat, but would Toronto? That is the question. So what if we went here? You want Pedro Ramirez as well? No way in a million years they accept that offer. Okay. Alternatively, we could just stick Garcia. I don't want to just stick Garcia there though. A couple of prospects, Triantos, Ramirez, and Urban Jacque for Bo Bichette with 50% retained. We'll offer it and see what they say. Let's sim ahead a day. We should get a notification as we lose our first game 7-2 to the Dodgers here in July. So it looks like we're right there. Penango's probably fine, right? So Bo Bichette with 50% retained, and we give up a handful of prospects that I don't really care about. I think this makes us a better team this year. And then potentially allows us to move on from Nico Horner here as well. Complete the deal. And right off the bat, there we go. We pick up Bo Bichette with 50% of his contract retained. Our 40-man is full. Oh, that's right. Dansby Swanson is hurt. So maybe that means he goes right into the lineup at shortstop. So let's send Abreu to the minors until we get an answer. Dansby Swanson is hurt. That is not ideal. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. So we're going to put him at shortstop for now until we get an answer back on Dansby, and then we will go from there. Second game of the month. Still 3.5 game lead over Cincinnati. There we go. A 4-3 victory. Still no answer on Swanson. That's a little concerning that we've gone a couple of days here with no response. Bichette 2 for 4, the home run in his debut, though. Schmidt goes 3 for 5. Gallen pitches 7 innings of 1-run ball. And that's another one that we want to take a look at right now, because financially we got $20 million for next season. We're in good shape financially because we're playing good baseball. If we talk to Zach Gallen, he wants 4 years. I can't give him 21 in this year. I can give him 18, I think. We do 18, 20, 19, 19. See if we make this last year a team option at $2 million. He wants that 4th year. I bet. Yeah, see, now our money left. I don't know. The extension money is weird. I don't. It's doesn't look accurate right now. So we'll just kind of sit on it here for a little bit and see what happens. But I hope we don't get terrible news on Swanson here. 49-31. Still no answer on Dansby Swanson. So we've lost 2 out of 3 to start this one. And yeah, I don't want to say we've struggled as of late. And we're still 49-31, but yeah, it definitely hasn't been as good a season here in June. We got to re-sign pretty much everybody. Back. No reason not to. We're performing. Top 100 prospects. We don't have anybody in the top 10. Our minor league system is a bit of a disaster right now. Yeah, we're 19th. We've got Hernandez, Ballesteros, Zendejas, who was one of our international guys last year, and then Cassie. All right, so we got Pittsburgh now. This is really starting to concern me because we've now gone 3 days with no answer on Dansby Swanson. Make it 4 days with no answer on Dansby Swanson. We got Pittsburgh here with a 4-2 victory. Velazquez a couple of hits. Bichette's 5 for 9 so far in his first 3 games. He's getting the job done. Ben Brown pitches well. We get a win, but getting increasingly concerned about our starting shortstop. Okay, and he's only out for 2 to 3 weeks, so it's not as bad as we would have hoped. But it's a good thing we picked up Bichette when we did, right? It's a good thing we made that deal when we did. I think we can call up Ravage Garcia here. Let's do that. Every 3rd game. Bouchard will play every 4th game. Lefties. Is Garcia better against lefties or righties? I don't hate the profile. Did I just completely jack up the lineups? Yes, I did. Shoot. Okay. All right. So we had Acuna batting leadoff with Crow batting second. Pete Crow Armstrong batting second. Schmidt, Velazquez. Actually, that looks fine. That though, move Riz up into the number 4 spot, and then against lefties we go Acuna. We had Suzuki batting leadoff. We want Bouchard playing against lefties. Yeah, he's still hitting well against lefties. Not really hitting as well as he was earlier in the season, but that's okay. Nick Gordon every 5th game at second. I'm not. I'd almost rather have Garcia at second base, truth be told, than Nico Horner, whose ratings are, I mean, he's fine. He's good defensively, but his his bat is significantly below average. Maybe it makes more sense. He's been really bad at shortstop. Maybe it makes more sense to do something like this for the next couple of weeks until we get Swanson back, and then that gives Bichette a couple of weeks to kind of work on his play at second base, I think. All right, I want to get through the draft before we start looking at pitching trades, but that's next on the agenda. There's another loss. So, yeah, we're not playing all that great here over the last few weeks. 51-32. We got a 5-0 shutout. Schmidt a couple of hits, couple RBIs. Bichette continues to rake in the early going. I saw another injury. So Swanson's out for 2 weeks. No, we don't have another injury. We got Crow Armstrong, who's day-to-day for 2 days. All right, we got Arizona now. It's the battle between the two top teams in the National League, and we lose Crow Armstrong for 3 weeks. All right, now things are starting to get a little concerning. Now we got to figure out center field. 5-run ninth inning for the Cubs, though, as they battle back. Acuna 2 hits and an RBI. Bichette has 2 runs knocked in. Casey Schmidt 2 runs knocked in. Gallen pitches well. I really want to figure out this contract thing. It's saying the maximum allowable contract for 2026 is $3 million. It's just not, though. All right, what do we do in center? I think we call Abreu back up. And then who do we stick in center field? Is it, we got a 55 range, we got a 50 range, we got a 50. We don't really have anybody. I mean, I guess Abreu is that center fielder with that 60 range out there in center field. Gordon? He can play the outfield, right? I mean, he's still 55. They're all 55s. Do we have anybody in our minor leagues in AAA who is better than that? Brennan is a 55. We call up Darius. He's a 55. Yeah, we don't really have anybody. We'll just run with that for the next 2 weeks. So our defense has gotten noticeably worse here over the last couple of days due to injury. All right, we've got who on the mound today? Matt Brash. 6-2 loss. 6-5 loss. We've lost 2 out of 3 so far to Arizona. Make it 3 out of 4. We lost 3 out of 4 to Arizona, but our lead in the Central is up to 7 as the other teams have actually played worse than us. Cincinnati down to 46-43. Yeah, I mean, losing our 2 best defensive players obviously is going to affect us, and it pretty clearly has. We got Colorado and the draft today, so let's go ahead and play this game, and that's a 20-4 loss. That's not a good game. We just gave up a 20 spot to the 36-52 Rockies. Hopefully that is rock bottom for us here, as I think we're like 4-7 this month, 3-8 this month, something like that. Four and 7 this month, yeah. And it's draft time. Hang tight just a second, guys. All right. It's draft time. We're not even going to look at, we're not even going to pretend that this happened. We're just going to get right into the draft here. So we're picking 9th. We're down from 7th. The mock draft has us taking Gavin Killen, who is not a shortstop. There were some decent players in the draft, I believe, if I remember correctly. What am I doing? Oh, it's batting ratings, not potential. Couple of decent bats. I guess it's not a great draft. It's an okay draft. I wouldn't mind a Drake Flowers. I doubt he falls to me, but we will see how it goes. So Oakland takes Jace Blaylock with the top pick, power hitting outfielder. Kansas City takes J.T. Kroner, 21-year-old, pretty well developed, still needs to work on his movement, but has 3 decent pitches. Detroit takes Nico Sinise. Not a shortstop, probably a second, well, definitely a second baseman with that arm, but still looks all right. San Diego takes Gavin Killen. All right, and that's fine. Washington, Nolan Schubart, probably the best power bat in the draft. Baltimore takes Drake Flowers. There's the pick that we wanted. So I think now we can just auto draft to our pick. So we got Boston Kellner, who's a two-way player. 19 years old. He's got a decent profile both offensively and on them. I mean, absolutely, that's an option. 100% that's an option. Same thing with Cam Caminiti. You got a couple of decent pitching options here. Offensively, we got Vaughn. Oh my gosh. I mean, how can we not take Von Necker? Right? Like, I mean, I don't like taking high school players, but how can you not take him, right? It's got to be. 80 potential power, 75 potential eye. I mean, OSA doesn't like him quite as much. The gap power a little bit less, but I mean, how can you not take a projected 80 power and 75 eye? I tend to gravitate towards the higher floor, lower ceiling kind of guys. But in this particular case, how can you not take someone like Von Necker? My only concern is his bonus demand is so low that I'm worried that his ratings are not even close to this. But we have to trust our scout. That's such a good bat. Who do they think we should take? They think we should take Jay Knowles. Shortstop who's not a shortstop. We're going to take Necker. We're going to take Von Necker, and we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that he develops. Auto pick. Let's see if either of those pitchers are still there. They're both still there, so perfect. I think we're going to go against the grain here a little bit in this draft, and we're going to go heavily on some of these high school students. We're going to take Boston Kellner, and we're going to make him a two-way player. Caminiti is still there with our next pick. He's our next pick. And he's not. All right. Yeah, going against what I normally do here from a draft perspective. Normally, I take the higher ceiling, lower floor, or lower floor, higher ceiling kind of guys, but it's too good to pass up. Gavin Fine looks okay. Pace, good defensively. Yeah, I mean, we're already down to this isn't a great draft, kind of situation. But I think we did. I mean, assuming those players develop, that's going to be good. But pitch potential. It's not what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. Zach Coyer. Again, this is the kind of player that I normally go after. This might not be a bad option here. OSA doesn't like him. Luke Papano is another two-way type player. Jay Shores, 21 years old. Low work ethic. I like the ratings, though. Let's take a gamble on the 21-year-old Chase Shores. Let's look at fielding. Elgin Bennett. He's the only 70 in the draft. Not a lot of great defensive players. Some above average defensive players, but no elite defense, no 75s, no 80s, nothing like that. Okay, Mason Neville. He looks okay. He's pretty well developed already for a 21-year-old. He's good with the glove. Yeah, we'll take Mason Neville. About infield. Yeah, same thing. Not a lot of elite defensive players in this draft. You got Carter Smith. This looks like a decent pick. High work ethic, good infield range. Sure. 18 years old. So, again, who knows what he's going to turn into, but Coy James. Decent bat against second base, but literally can play every position on the field, which I think is kind of cool. So we'll take Coy James. I don't know if we're going to have the money to sign him just looking at what his demand was, but we'll see. Anson Rose, we definitely need a catcher, so we will take him. Let's look at individual pitch potentials. Let's pull up knuckleballers. No knuckleballers in the draft. Circle change. Jackson Kent. He's got 4 really good pitches. He's the kind of player that if TCR hits, he could be pretty elite. So we'll take Jackson Kent with that 70 circle change. You like that. Xavier Cardenas. Yep, we're going to take him. And we're going to take Cooper Dossett. Those are a couple players that I love in Out of the Park 23. So we're going to take them here in Out of the Park 24. We'll see if they develop. Lucas Davenport. High work ethic, 22-year-old, but not really any room for growth. So you're 100% relying on TCR in a situation like that. I like to take players who have potential that also have the high work ethic, that have 1 or 2 really good skill sets, because, then maybe you get, I feel, I don't know if it's accurate, but I feel like you're more likely to get that TCR from a player who's got high work ethic than you do from a player who has low work ethic. I don't have any supporting data for that, but it's just how I feel. Not taking a reliever. Tristan Cavazos Reichwald. Wow, that's a rich name. Yeah, not really a lot of great pitchers left. Batting potential, is there, what do we got left? Anything? Oh, Toussaint Bythewood. Yes. 100% yes, just because of the name. That is a fantastic name. Tanner Zellum with 70. I see like this. A little bit of potential left. Has 1 really overwhelming skill. The power's not bad. Has a high work ethic, high adaptability, high intelligence, low greed. I feel like this type of player is more likely to have the TCR hit him than somebody else. And again, not basing that off of anything, but that's just how I feel. So we're in round 12, and I think we're good here. We're just going to go ahead and auto-complete the rest of the draft. Let's go ahead and negotiate with our draftees. We got a couple people. What do we have for? So if we offer 2.4 to him. $3.6. Yeah, because because Necker wants so much less, we can offer these guys. Yeah, we can still offer over slot on those. So I just have to hope that Necker develops. I mean, that bat is so good. And scouting accuracy is very high. I mean, that's just crazy if he ends up being that good. All right. So we just lost 20-4. We had a couple of games here leading into the All-Star break. See if we can win a couple. Finish the first half of the season strong. Got a double header. Okay, we got rained out. Win one, lose one. We went 11-8. Acuna 3 for 4, 4 runs knocked in. Bichette still at 400 with the team. Schmidt goes 3 for 5. Yeah, not great pitching. Acuna hits 2 home runs. Suzuki homers, and then we lose 5-4 in extras. Okay. Brave and Schmidt homer. All right, so we got a couple of days off here, which is good. Allows some of those injured players to get that much closer to returning without missing a game. Kellner reacted. We will go ahead and disable and strategy. Use him as a two-way player. Yeah. Hopefully he is truly a two-way player. Mason Neville. Disable the AI promotion. I can delete the messages. So we get Swanson back in a few days, which is good. Shores, disable AI promotion. He's 21, but I want him to start in rookie ball, I think. There's Coy James. All right. Got a game tomorrow. And there's Von Necker. So now we just keep our fingers crossed. That he is what he looks to be here. I'm not confident because I'm never confident when it comes to high school players, but we will see. All right. So we get Swanson back in 4 days. We get Armstrong back, PCA back in a week. That'll help us defensively. Because we got Bichette at second, and as expected, it's been pretty ugly so far, so that's not helpful. I would suspect, he's been below average at shortstop too. So our middle infield defense is now just pretty bad. Let's look and see what's on the trade block from a pitching perspective. Sonny Gray, what's he making? $6 million? That's not bad. I'd love Gausman, but he's making a crap ton of money. What's Devin Williams making? No, we don't need another bullpen arm. Paddock? I mean, Chris Paddock would have been a nice pickup. But he's got an unknown return date. Bailey Ober? Flyball pitchers in Wrigley are not particularly good, but Paddock's really the one I want. I just don't know when he's going to be back. Maybe it doesn't take that much because he's injured. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know if that's a thing, but maybe that's a thing. Offer up. How's that knuckleball coming? It's up to a 35. His numbers, only pitched in 2 games so far in rookie ball this year, but 7 walks, 7 strikeouts. We'll hang on to him for now. Just throw a couple of minor leaguers at him that we don't really care about. All right, let's see what happens here against San Francisco coming out of the break. There's a victory. All right, we're close. I mean, he wants a pretty big prospect, which we're not going to give him, but it means we're close. Bo Bichette, 2 for 4. A couple of solo home runs for Bo. Casey Schmidt, a couple of RBIs. Brash strikes out 10 in 4 2/3. Let's take a look at that email from San Francisco. Or from Minnesota, rather. They want Cade Horton. Cade Horton, Ballesteros, Arrighetti, Nunez, Brash, Hernandez. And none of those players I'm interested in giving up for somebody who may not pitch for us. Like, I don't know how long he's hurt for. Hopefully it's just an oblique strain and he comes back healthy. Excuse me, here sooner rather than later. Jefferson Rojas. Let's see if that changes things at all. All right, game 2. We get Swanson back in 3 days. We just need to sort of hang on here till we can improve our defense. Carter Smith. Sableye promotion. I think we're there, guys. Yeah, I got no problem giving up Cole or Retterer. A 25-year-old, sure. All right, let's complete the deal. Excellent. So he's hurt. We don't know how long he's hurt for, so we'll leave him on the DFA screen here for a bit and see what we see. I don't know that that's the last deal I want to make. I might want to add more. Do want to get our players back, though. We lose 2 out of 3 here to San Francisco, now on to Kansas City. And July's been a rough month for the Cubs. There's a victory, 5-3. Swanson is ready to come back. We got a couple RBIs from Rizzo, Suzuki, and Horner. All right, so from a lineup perspective, Garcia will go back down. Swanson will come back up. I want to leave, here's the deal. Like, if I put him on the injured list, he's got to be out for 15 days, and we might get an answer on him tomorrow. But if we don't, and we wait 5 days, now we've just lost 5. So I'm just going to put him on the injured list. All right, so we get Swanson back. He's going to go in the lineup for Nico Horner. Swanson in at shortstop. Why is Schmidt? Out. So we're missing what? A center fielder against lefties? Is it Abreu? I don't really want to play Abreu against lefties, but that's what I'll have to do here. I don't want him batting 6th necessarily. I think I want him up here. Yeah. All right. So we got Swanson back. We get PCA back in 4 days, and our lineup will be complete, so to speak. I think we get to deadline day and then kind of see what's available on deadline day and see if we can add another piece. So we win again, 5-3. Acuna 2 for 3 with 3 runs scored. Bouchard with a 3-run double. He pinch hit in the 4th inning. Love it. Love it. Pinch hit in the 4th inning with a 3-run double. Griffin gets the win. Arrighetti with the save. We look for the sweep over Kansas City here. We don't get it. We lose 6-5 in 13. Get a day off here. And yeah, still no answer on Paddock. I hope we can get him back. I mean, we gave up a bunch of players I don't really care about. Hopefully we can get him back. We get Kirby today, and then we get PCA back in the lineup tomorrow. And there is a win. So we will now send Abreu down to the minors. Actually hitting this year. PCA comes back into the lineup in center field, which, again, completes our defense. This is what we're going to look like, I think, for the rest of the season. This is a 4-0 victory. Acuna 4 for 5. Look at Ronald. 257, 344, 44. Yeah, I mean, I am fine with a 785 OPS and a 344 average out of my leadoff man. 100% okay with that. A couple hits from Bichette. Gallon, 6 2/3 shutout. Yeah, let's keep going. 5.5 game lead over the Reds. Make it 4.5. The Reds closing back in again. We had that lead up to 7. Not a good month for the Cubs here. We are down to 57 42. We still have a 3.5 game lead in the division. Another loss. They want to send us Angel Zerpa. No, I'm not going to accept that deal. Not a good month for the Cubs. 9 14. Now, we've been battling injuries, but we're not pitching all that well, and we're not hitting all that well now. We were, top 5 in both, and now we're 7th in both. There's a victory. Yimi Garcia. Wyatt Evans. No, we've been 5-2 today. Cunha has 3 hits. Schmidt with a couple hits. Bichette 3 for 4 with 2 runs knocked in. Uceta picks up the win. Coleman gets the save. Our bullpen's been good. Defensively, we are the best team in the National League. I think we made our offensive upgrade with Bo Bichette. I don't think there's another move here we want to make unless we want to find another catcher. How's Fiducia doing? Yeah, Fiducia's not hitting either. I mean, maybe we try to find a catcher that we can pair up with Blake Hunt. We got a catcher for Nico Horner, since we're not going to re-sign him. We got Francisco Mejia, whose ratings have dropped substantially over the last couple out-of-the-park seasons. Yeah, nothing really there, which isn't a surprise, but trade block. Christian Vasquez has the glove. He's raking. He's making $10 million. We try to swing another deal with Minnesota. Kyle Tucker. He was somebody I was looking to trade for at the beginning of the season. I'm kind of glad I didn't because his ratings have dropped here a little bit. Reese McGuire. Let's get to deadline day and we'll see if we can trade for Christian Vasquez. Maybe a relief pitcher too. Yeah, there's another loss. We're not playing well. We are not playing well. So let's go right to the Twins because we know they are trading Christian Vasquez. They would have to retain because we only have $1 million left. No, I don't want to trade Aliendo because we need him next year. Will Frisch. 6 foot, yeah, extreme fly ball pitcher, not great. How's RJ doing? Doing all right. He's doing all right. He's up to a 40 potential. So he's doing okay. He's doing okay. Let's move him to high A. See if that development improves even more. Derek Mitchell, you want him? Do it, pad the proposal, and make them accept. I'm trying. Mason McGuire. Could trade him our top pick from last year, who's been really bad. Let's try that. Let's continue with trading day. Are we even close? Yeah, we're not even close. All right. I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah, we don't have to retain everything, do we? All right, so what about if they retain 60%? Eric Chalice was another pick of ours last year. So yeah, it wasn't a good draft. Cole Franklin. To seal the deal, we probably have to offer more. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. Like, Cassie's not going to be that good, but is it worth trading him for a rental? I mean, I guess that's kind of where I'm getting stuck here. Drake Purvis looks like he's developing nicely here a little bit. Who else is on the block? Let's someone to go here. Reese McGuire's good defensively, but the bat isn't any better than what we're throwing out there. Ronaldo Lopez, what's he making? 5.3. Bregman on the block now. He was somebody I wanted to. He's somebody I'm still willing to target next season. If that's, now he's somebody I would give up Cassie for. Do we give up Alex? Yeah, Hernandez isn't particularly good either. Owen Cassie and Alexis Hernandez. What about just Alexis Hernandez? Alexis Hernandez for Alex Bregman. But if we did that, where do we play Bregman? Does he become our DH? We got Suzuki at DH against righties, and then we have Suzuki at DH against lefties. I mean, kind of feel like we would put Bregman at DH and have Suzuki back up in the outfield. Not that I expect them to accept this, but we will see. They want Schmidt or Crow Armstrong. Okay, well, that's not going to happen. Not for a rental. I will give you a little bit more. Like, I'd give you Cassie. Yeah, that's not going to happen either. All right. Maybe we just wait until free agency and then sign him to be our DH. That's what I wanted to do last year. But they offered him the qualifying offer, and he picked it up. And I'm hopeful, because he had a down year this year, that he won't want as much in the offseason. Do we just try to lean? I mean, we wouldn't be able to get him. We wouldn't be able to get him. I'm not even going to try. I mean, we could get him. I just don't want to spend what it's going to take to get him, I guess is what I should say. Vasquez is the guy I want. With how he's hitting this year, it just makes sense. But Alexis Hernandez for Christian Vasquez? What can we get for Hernandez? I mean, I know the game likes him, so maybe there's a better option there someplace. Okay. We did it right at the the end of the day, so to speak, for Alfred Duno. We don't need a prospect catcher. I don't know why. Drew. Well, there you go. There's our catcher deal. There is our catcher deal. Let's go ahead and submit that offer. Do we want to see about a reliever? Drew Romo. I mean, that's the deal, right? Because I think we're good offensively now. Now it's just a matter of, I mean, our bullpen is okay. Denelson LeMay has been okay, but he's not any better than what we're throwing out there. I think that might be it. I think that might be the deal, assuming it is confirmed by the Rockies. Did they respond? No. We're going to have to continue to the next. Okie dokie. David Bracco. So we're going to send Alexis Hernandez, who is technically the number 54 prospect in baseball. I don't think he has a position. It says shortstop / center field, but his ratings would argue that he's a second baseman / left field. And in return, we get Drew Romo, who is hitting 240. He's not hitting particularly well right now in Colorado, but that's the best bat. That's the best defensive catcher in all of baseball, and that allows us to maybe find a bat at catcher in the offseason to pair up with them. So we're gonna go ahead and make that deal. Pick ourselves up a new catcher. We're going to send Hunter Fiducia to the minors. We are going to call up Drew Romo, and he is going to immediately become our starting catcher. It's hard to believe that we have Blake Hunt, who's a 65 behind the plate, and he's our second best catcher. So I think we're in good shape offensively and defensively. Oh, we get Paddock back in 4 days. Awesome. So he'll be back for the stretch. We'll stick him in the rotation, probably for Foster Griffin, and then we'll run Gallen, Brash, Brown, So, and Paddock. Yeah, we still don't have much money for this season, but let's go ahead and finish the day. 2.5 game lead on Cincinnati. So this is going to be the first episode, guys, where the postseason is in play, which means I'm not going to sim to the end of the regular season. I am going to sim to, within within the last couple of weeks of the off season, and we will come back and we will play those. So gets better, movements up to a 65, controls up to a 60. Abreu gets better. Ballesteros gets better. Boston Kellner gets better right out of the chute. That you love to see. He's immediately up to a 65. Or I think his potential stayed the same, but it looks like his movement got better, both potential and current. Cassie gets a little better. Alan Chu showing some growth. Juan Zendejas gets a little better as well. So cool. So we are. It wasn't a great month. We were 10-15 for the month of July. We did suffer injuries to our two best defensive players, Dansby Swanson and Pete Crow Armstrong. They're both back now. We've added Drew Romo to do our catching for us now and into the foreseeable future. We added Chris Paddock as a rental starting pitcher. He is ready to go as well. 60 movements, 75 control, should slot in quite nicely. What does he want for an extension? Just out of curiosity. Not an unreasonable number. So we've got some players, I think, if we can figure out a way to move Suzuki next season, in the offseason, between arbitration and free agency. If we can move Suzuki there in the last year of his contract, and we can re-sign Gallen, and we'll see how Paddock does for the rest of the season, I think we're okay in our rotation. Our bullpen continues to be terrific. We should, even if we don't make the playoffs, we should get a nice bump to our owner, to our payroll, or to our budget. And then we'll continue to increase the prices and et cetera, et cetera. So more scouting, more development next year, more money for extension. So that's going to do it, guys. So I'm going to sim ahead probably to the middle of September, and we'll do kind of the last couple of weeks live, and then we'll jump into the postseason. So let me know what you think of my trade deadline deals. Let me know what you think of our draft. I'm happy with both, but it's going to be a while before that draft, kind of comes to fruition. So yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks as always for watching. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.